if you cast something that is visually jarring like this guy is, not only is he not white, I don't know how you're going to put long, greasy black hair on this guy. Are you going to make him look, I mean, are they going to give him a jerry curl? What are we going to do with this guy? He's not a creepy looking dude. He's a good looking black dude. And Snape is supposed to be a creepy, pale, gaunt white guy. I mean, they could not have picked somebody that's more jarringly opposite of Severus Snape than this.
Renegade Online.
Harry Potter reboot casting choices verified, including John Lithgow's Dumbledore and Papa Isaidu. I don't even know how to say his name. Esidu, Isaidu, Snape, whatever. One of the things that's ridiculous about this is that you want to pull DEI crap, at least put it in some believable fashion, right? And it became very clear to me, and I said this on X the other day. I said, look, this is how this show started. The casting meeting was put together after they decided, hey, we're going to reboot the Harry Potter franchise, because for those of you that don't understand, the reason they're doing it this way is because Warner Brothers has the rights to do film and television on the Harry Potter books, the 7 books, the original 7 books. If they do anything else, they cannot do derivatives without going back to J.K. Rowling and getting her express approval and all this. Now, they brought Rowling in to work with them on the reboot for obvious reasons, because it's an act of good faith. And it looks good to the diehard fans to have J.K. Rowling involved. And David Zaslav talked about this a number of times during the earnings calls early on in his tenure as the new CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. But then we reached a bridge here. Pun intended. DEI bridge. Then we reached the bridge here where casting got involved with this show, right? So that we could do the show. We don't have to do anything new and super special to get special permission. We're going to do the same stuff again that we already have permission to do. That's the books. Now we have to cast it. And I'm telling you, the first thing that happened on the first day of the casting meeting the casting director came in, or some DEI human resource jack came in and said, you know what? Harry Potter's got too many white people in it. I'm telling you, this is how it started. This is how this went down. Don't doubt me on this. Or if not those exact words, something very close. Harry Potter has too many white people in it. So what do we do? Well, we have to start making casting choices. Well, and people say correctly, well, wait a minute. Now, Harry Potter has guys like Dean Thomas and Cho Chan. They have actors, the Pavarti twins, so you've got Indian, you've got Black with Dean Thomas, you've got Chinese with Cho. So, there's diversity. The problem is those characters are just not, they wouldn't be on screen near enough. They're not primary characters. They're not everyday, every year characters that are always going to be there. They're not principal characters. And you think about these days how even the Academy of Motion Pictures, the guys who run the Oscars, they have criteria. They have very, very strict, well-defined. We've covered it. Film Thread has covered it. You can go look them up. Very clear and well-defined diversity, equity, and inclusion criteria that you must meet in terms of cast and or crew on your production to be eligible for major awards like Best Picture and others in that top tier category. I tell you right now, the Emmys and the other awards have similar criteria, if not written explicitly in the rules. I promise you, behind closed doors, they are there. And that is why you are seeing this. Not Robbie Coltrane, obviously, who's sadly passed away. There's a ton of pressure facing the creators of Harry Potter, the reboot series on HBO. The continuation of the property's relevance likely lies in their hands, and Universal Studios alone has billions invested in the idea that the property will remain abundantly popular. But new casting choices released by Variety are certainly interesting. HBO officially unveiled the first wave of casting for its highly anticipated Harry Potter television series, making significant steps forward in the franchise's expansion into long-form storytelling. The series described as a, quote, faithful adaptation. And I want to harp on that choice of words. This was something that was said early on, right? That this adaptation for television, which, look, admittedly, I'm going to say this. I was really excited about this. And the reason I was is because, look, if they do it right, if they put a lot of care and attention into this, doing it as a television series is going to allow them to go back and expand on what all the stuff they had to cut out that weren't in the films, that were in the books. There's a whole ton of stuff, especially once you got into the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and even the 7th year, that they had to cut out because those books were enormous, right? There was a lot of stuff that was taken. So I said, great, let's do it. This is going to be a faithful adaptation. Well, that didn't last too long. And now, of course, everybody's concerned about what the rest of the cast is going to look like because we haven't even hit the A-tier characters yet. We haven't hit Harry and Ron and Hermione. And now everybody's wondering, oh, what is that going to look like, right? I mean, that's a legitimate fear people have right now because of what they've done with Snape. Leading the ensemble is John Lithgow, who will portray Albus Dumbledore, which, look, I even said when I saw that, I was like, I'd rather see a British actor. I love John Lithgow. He's a fabulous actor. I'm just having trouble processing him in my head as doing Dumbledore. Maybe that's just me and fine, but I'm not pissed off about the casting. I'm just thinking he's 80 years old. He's got to survive for another 10 years to finish filming this series. He's going to be 90 roughly when they finish filming year 7. He's going to live that long? You know, that's the other problem that kind of bothers me. But anyway, be that as it may, okay, Albus Dumbledore. And then they have Janet McTeer as McGonagall, which I think looks about right. And I think we got some pictures in this article, or maybe not. I'll go back and find it. But here's the thing. Then we get down to this is Snape. This is who we cast as Severus Snape, a character in the book that is very, very well-defined, a very distinct character, defined as, very pale and gaunt, skinny, long, greasy, black, shoulder-length hair, a crooked nose, pale white skin. He has a very distinct look. That's why when Alan Rickman was introduced as Snape in the movies, almost 20 years ago now, whatever it was, people were like, dude, that's looks just like what everybody imagined as Snape would look like. Dumbledore looked like what you imagined Dumbledore would look like. Harry, Daniel Radcliffe, looked exactly like you would imagine Harry looking like. He looked like the artwork. When you have a well-known piece of intellectual property, and especially a mission-critical character like Severus Snape, he is arguably, besides the trio and Dumbledore, Snape is he's the 3rd or 4th mission-critical character in this entire saga. If you cast something that is visually jarring like this guy is, not only is he not white, okay, I don't know, you're going to put long, greasy black hair on this guy. Are you going to make him look, are they going to give him a Jerry curl? What are we going to do with this guy? Okay, that's never would look stupid, right? Just there's some Rick James jokes right here. Can somebody make a Rick James meme with this for me? He's not a creepy looking dude. He's a good looking black dude. And Snape is supposed to be a creepy, pale, gaunt white guy. They could not have picked somebody that's more jarringly opposite of Severus Snape than this. The only way this could have been even further away from Severus Snape is if they had cast a black woman as Snape. And be, who cares? It's like, it doesn't matter. The point of it is that it's just like the Little Mermaid. Oh, it doesn't matter, Valiant. Mermaids aren't real. They can cast Halle Bailey in there. That didn't work. That movie did 1/3 of what the Barbie movie did in the same year. And that movie was built for the exact same audience as Barbie and was the most popular Disney princess that they had for over 30 years. And that movie crashed. Why? Because the character didn't look like what people expected it to look like. They deliberately deviated from it.
But here's the problem, Valiant. The original Little Mermaid didn't have hypertelorism and the hyperocular telorism, which is exactly what Hollywood's looking for these days.
This is so.
Sorry.
Here's Alan Rickman, and here's new Snape. Alan Rickman visually embodied Snape. There is no amount of makeup or wig that you can put on this guy that is going to read as Severus Snape? There's none. Okay? Unless you're going to put this guy in whiteface for 7 seasons of this show and give him a prosthetic nose or something else. I mean, again, Snape is very visually distinct. And of course, then it doesn't account for the other problems with casting a black actor in this role, because Snape, as a young boy in school, and again, read all the Harry Potter books twice myself. Okay. It's probably been about 10 years since the last time I read them. Point being is that Snape is picked on as a young student, and he's going to get picked on by all the other boys that are picking on him are going to be white, and he's going to be the one black kid. So we can see where that might wind up going in the writing. I pray to God not, but I can see them doing it. The other part that's unintentionally stupid is the fact that they're going to have, at the same time, because now they're making Snape black, they're going to have a black kid and later a black man who is going to be incredibly upset and jealous of a white man and his white wife who he wanted. He wanted the white girl, and then is angry at the son, the white kid, Harry. You see how bad, you see how weird this is going to get. You can see all of the stuff. And look, we're going out there with this, but the point is, this is me saying this. I want you to imagine these wackadoo, left-wing, DEI, psychopath, whack job writers in a writer's room that have a black character now in this position inside this franchise, and how twisted they could make this. Does anybody out there want to tell me that they trust the writers to do the right thing here? I'm all ears. I don't. I mean, I hope they don't. But this is, I mean, of all the characters that they picked besides any one of the major 3, like Harry himself, people were making jokes about having Sam Jackson as Dumbledore. I might have actually gotten a kick out of that. I mean, I can't say it would. I mean, it's not the best casting, obviously, but I mean, look, I mean, if they wanted to cast a storied older black actor to play Dumbledore, okay, I could, but Snape, this makes no freaking sense. None.
Well, none of it makes sense.
No.
Valiant, which you took the very careful time and very patient time at the beginning of this segment to say. Look, I everybody knows what Snape looks like. Everybody knows what all these characters look like. They were perfectly portrayed in the film that they've had out there. The only reason for Warner Brothers to do this is to hang on to this franchise a little bit longer, when it comes to film and television. And they're doing it in the most irresponsible way possible. But you have to ask yourself, it isn't just because of the virtue signal. They have ulterior motives. They're trying, like heck, to draw in an audience that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There is no modern audience. There is no audience for this. The people are going to get turned off immediately because these kids are not going to behave the same way that Daniel and the crew did. Right? You're going to be looking for that performance, and you're not going to get it. And at the same time, if they really do go through and do all 7 years of this,
I mean, that's the plan right now. It's going to take them probably about 10 years from start to finish.
Why does it feel so very remarkably similar to what they did with the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power at this point?
The same thought process behind it, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, let's jar the audience with, we're out of nowhere, we're going to have black dwarves married to Durin, right? She played Durin's wife. And then we've got black elves and Hispanic elves. It's like, wait, this all of a sudden, I mean, this is supposed to take place where it takes place. The problem is people have, it's not only just visually jarring, but they also look at it and they go, look, we know what you're doing. This is cheap virtue signaling. This isn't authentic, right? Nobody in their right mind believes that out of all the people that auditioned or were called to audition to play the role of Severus Snape, that was the guy. Like, there were no white actors at all that could play Severus Snape. He was the only guy. He was the best guy. I was like, We know what you were doing.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.